All right. So, Ed, if you wouldn't mind, would you just be able to introduce yourself real quick, your experience with Lynchburg, lacrosse, anything from there? Open slate.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ed Smith. I'm the director of strength conditioning, also an associate AD or assistant AD here at the University of Lynchburg. I've been fortunate to be here for, I believe this is year 11. So been here a good amount of time. Been in the profession, I think we're on 15 years now. Prior to here, I was at Weber International, worked under Steve Rassel at Weber International. A lot of good experience under Steve Rassel for my 9 months that I was there. And then prior to that, probably my most impactful mentor, Matt Nine at Salisbury University. Did my graduate assistant work through Salisbury. It was very fun to kind of get hands on right out of the gate. Matt kind of runs a great GA assistantship, all inclusive type of deal there at Salisbury. So I was very fortunate to have that at Salisbury. That was my first exposure to lacrosse, to be honest with you. Probably not the worst spot to start out
No, not at all.
getting your exposure with lacrosse. I didn't particularly work with them right out of the gates. Helped out here and there. There was a another gentleman there. Nick was running lacrosse and continued to do that. He did a fantastic job while we were there. Nick O'Brien. He's been a little bit all over the map with strength conditioning as well, and so kind of watched what he did with lacrosse, but also just kind of did what I needed to do to become a better strength coach at that time. From there, as I said, went to Weber. They didn't have lacrosse there at Weber at the time, so it was kind of away from lacrosse for those 9 months, and then got the fortunate opportunity to become the first full-time head strength coach here. They had a strength coach
Yeah.
and someone that's still working at the school here, and very fortunate to have that opportunity to kind of follow him up. He had been working with the lacrosse guys. They had just come out of the national championship in 2015, so they were runner up. So that's kind of came in 2015 fall and really kind of hit the ground running. We had a very small space to train. Was very fortunate over these 11 years to have a pretty good training environment. Pretty good facility. Opened up for us. Older looking. The building isn't glitz and glamour. We get if it's hot outside, it's hot in here. If it's cold outside, it's cold in here. And but we're very fortunate to have nice equipment, nice open space. A lot of people don't have. I mean, I always say I have about 4,000 square foot training space, but I have also about 12,000 square foot building that I can expand out into. So it's a rather large multi-purpose facility that we've kind of used for a little bit of everything,
Nice.
whether it be for our track and field athletes here or even bringing some futsal soccer in here in the off season for those soccer guys and soccer girls. They can do that stuff in here. So we've got a nice space here to train our athletes, and really, um, we kind of have a blue collar mentality here. We don't have the glitz and the glamour. We have some nice stuff, but been here and been very fortunate over these 11 years to kind of grow this into what we have going on here.
I kind of love that too because one of the things when I was at St. Francis too, it was probably a not too far off of a situation that you guys have.
Yep.
They're going D3 now, but we would have like really we had a smaller weight room than you guys did, but the same thing that you were saying, like, hey, I'm just gonna use the entire facility. So we would had
Yeah.
athletes like do sprints up and down just the admin office corridor, and they loved it. But you got to make do with what you got when
Yep.
your spaces are a little bit smaller. But I completely get that. Um, Quick question for you too, maybe not so quick,
Yeah.
but being a D3 strength coach, being the first ever D3 strength coach for Lynchburg,
Hmm.
what is that process of getting like a program up, started, rolling, and get it just
Well,
got to go from there? It's the only guy.
yeah, like I said, I was the only guy here in 2015. And so honestly, when I came on my interview, it was just trying to have some sort of framework in place. It was important for me to have the coaches here understand that just because I'm coming on staff, that doesn't automatically mean we're going to win more games and all this.
Yeah.
There's such a process within this, and I just want to be a piece of the puzzle. We're very fortunate here to have head coaches that have had some long tenured. Steve Kudelka's been here for Lord knows 20 plus years. He's been here for a very long time on the lacrosse side. They were lifting weights and they were testing and all that stuff far before my time here and having tons of success. It was just an opportunity for me to kind of take that off his plate. And then I've been very fortunate to work along him, his staff, every staff that we've had here prior to me being here, along with me being here, um, have done a fantastic job of just, hey, you're the strength coach. What do we need? Not, hey, this is how we're going to do things. Here's some
Yeah.
things that I really like. And he has given things that he really likes within his program, styles of play. We've even molded styles of play in the last 11 years. So I think that's been very good for me to kind of evolve as the games evolve and
Yeah.
learn the game. That was something when I got here. Obviously, I didn't play it. I had saw it, had experienced it while at Salisbury, but it was important for me to kind of get an understanding of what does the guy look like on the field. What does the D midi look like versus the O midi? Is it somebody different? Sometimes it's the same dude,
Yeah.
depending on what skill wise they have, or do they get caught in transition? What does our D poles look like player wise versus our attack guys, and how do we train them? Ultimately, out of the beginning, it was trying to just get a framework in place, develop them to be a better athlete. And that's what I tell all of our recruits. If I stand down here in the weight room and talk to a recruit, my job is to make you a better athlete, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, a little bit more resistant to injury,
Mhm.
and then work hand in hand with the coaching staff to make you a better lacrosse player. I don't do lacrosse specific stuff. I don't have their stick in hand with any of the training that I'm doing, mainly because that's not what my specialty is. My specialty is athletic development, and so from there, work hand in hand with the athletic training staff. Very fortunate to have a great athletic training staff here that works hand in hand with me, works hand in hand with the coaching staff, and we collaborate at a very high level to try to get these athletes the best experience possible.
That's awesome. Working with them and developing everybody as athletes, what are
Yeah.
like your one or two big rocks that you really want to hammer home or things you focus on with athletes, like either KPIs, lifts, conditionings, things like that, that you feel like, hey, if we can do this to a high level, we're going to be successful.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there's no one thing in the weight room that's just gonna jump off the Richter scale and say if we can do this really good in the weight room, we're gonna be really great at lacrosse. So
Mhm.
that's been something over my career that I've had to kind of get a grasp about. Hey, you're the strength coach. You're not exactly just because somebody can squat 405 pounds, or just because somebody can bench press 315 pounds. That doesn't mean they're going to go out on the lacrosse field and dominate. Do those things help? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we have some key performance indicators that or really, it's not even for us. It's not key performance indicators. It's just tracking of lifts. We'll back squat them. I've been somebody that's lived behind the back squat. Doesn't mean that I'll die by the back squat. If somebody's got issues, we'll work around it. We'll bench press. A lot of times, the bench press is bench pressing your body weight. Trying to see how many times we can get that. Some old lacrosse testing, bench press your body weight, squatting, hang cleaning, pull ups, the stuff that a lot of people in the lacrosse world are doing, we're still doing to some capacity.
Mhm.
We've made small adjustments, whether it's by body weight or do we do percentages and those type of things. And all those really ebb and flow with the group that we got in front of us,
Sure.
and really kind of grow that. And ultimately, we want to give the kids, hey, we are going to test when we get
Yeah.
back from winter break. We are going to test when we get back from summer break. We want to know where you're at and then build from there. Um, if you don't pass the testing per se, that doesn't mean you automatically don't get on the field, but it does give us a understanding of what was your commitment level. I mean, the guys are going to come back having been gone for 6 weeks
Yeah.
and need to be ready at their most important time. So we have to have an idea. Hey, did you train? Here's what you left at. Here's what we sent you home to do. Did you come back in a good spot? So I think those are things. There's no really lockdown stuff. We've been very fortunate this year to add in Vault.
There you
We've got
go.
force plates, so added in some technology, got some OBR velocity training. So really trying to look at that. I'll commend my assistant Holden Fiedler. I got a full time assistant here now that he's really pushed me on the technology side to push some of those things. So we're really trying to figure out where does that fall within our mold as well. For them as they go into the season, we'll track their counter movement jump every time they come in, just to kind of see where they're at neurologically. That
Mhm.
that that isn't the end all be all. It doesn't mean hey, you're jumped low
Yeah.
today, you automatically have to be shut down, but at least gives us another marker in place, on top of what the coaches see and on top of what the athletic training staff sees. And then we can at least have some performance markers in place from the technology side that are really not us on our eye. It's
Mhm.
the technology says it. you're back to 90, 80, 70% of what you can do and help progress them along the way.
So do you kind of use the force plates as almost like a fatigue indicator? Like, hey, our typical average 30-day jump is going to be, I don't know, 18, 20 inches. And then if we drop below 10%, like, hey, maybe we got to dial something back.
Yeah, so right now so we use it this fall with our fall athletes, and that's kind of what we did with our soccer teams
Okay.
and field hockey. Hey, we're going to keep this running semester rolling, drop below 10%. Hey, how are you feeling? That's just not a good day.
Yeah.
Maybe I slept wrong. It allows us to start having some of those conversations a little easier.
Mhm.
Um, and then from there, hey, I noticed you jumped the same, but you had a huge right side dominance. Are
Okay.
you hurting on your left side?
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Have you told anybody? No. Like allows us to have those conversations just to open up that line of communication so that the athletes know this force plate stuff is expensive. It's great. It's all that. It's for you. Like it's not for me as the strength coach necessarily. It's for you as the athlete to try to find out where you're at. How can we help you and really grow this thing to take us hopefully to the next level. That's something that we're always trying to do here.
Yeah, and I think that's what's crazy to me too is like you guys even have access to those force plates, period. Because I know there's a handful of D1 programs that don't have access to force plates, and just being able to have that in your facility as a
Mm-hmm.
buy-in piece for athletes, but also like, hey, this is actually a really high level piece of equipment that we can see, you know, bilateral indifferences. We can
Mm-hmm.
see inefficiencies. We can kind of get you some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Get some sort of like tracking to see fatigue indexes.
Right.
That's absolutely huge, especially at the D3 level. Like who else? I'm trying to think of who else at the D3 level, minus Hopkins, which isn't like a
Right.
real D3, is kind of like doing that. But
Yeah. Well, that was something that was very, like I said, Coach Kudelka has been here a long time. He reached out to me last year and said, "Hey, what is something? I've got some alumni that would love to help out. What is something that we could use, or something that the athletics department could use?" And me and my assistant had always been we got a pipe dream list of things that would be
yeah,
really cool to have. And that was something that we kind of shot our shot and said, "Hey, this would be great. I think it'd be great for the whole athletics department, not just our lacrosse teams." And the alumni said, "Sure thing. Let's do it. Let's fire it away. If it's going to help us potentially get to a national championship, let's try it and see what works." And it's been very good for us in this last fall. Hoping to continue to evolve it. Again, where does it fit within the Lynchburg mold?
mhm,
Is always is it just a strength conditioning thing? Is it something that athletic training can use? Is it something that we can use? We've partnered up with our exercise science group, and some of this stuff that we are getting, they're going to do research on it, just student research. If it goes far enough that it gets published, awesome. But we'll have some data and be able to use this. We're fortunate to have two sets because we're using it for some student involvement. Vol grouped up with us and let us get those two sets, and it was very, very good and useful for us. So,
no, I think that's a high IQ move too, because the same thing, like when I was at St. Francis, we didn't have many resources. So what you had to do is a lot of grant writing, trying to get in contact with academia to be like, hey, let's
yeah,
partner up, let's do this.
yeah,
Like, and through those partnerships, like for at least for me, we were able to get access to like Dari. We were able to get access to a little bit of force plate jumping. We were able to get
right,
access to like body competition stuff, which on our budget never would have been able to do. But because we
right, right,
partner up with some sort of academic side, it's like, hey, now it's a research thing, so now we can
right,
actually fund this.
right.
So I think from like a high performance model, you guys, all you guys are doing decent.
We're trying that, and that's always my biggest thing. And how can I evolve as a strength coach?
Yeah.
I can go out here and tell somebody how to squat. I can go out here and tell somebody how to hang clean. Like I said, we use the hang clean, we use the squat, we use the bench rest, we pull up, we do all variations of really about any lift that you can think of. Ultimately, what's the next thing that helps me as a strength coach evolve and grow with the times? Technology is a huge and valuable piece. It's not the end all be all. I think it's been, it's that sometimes I catch myself, oh, it's the
Yeah.
technology says this, but my eye sees this. So let's kind of go back and forth and really see
It
what's
should,
going to be great on that.
yeah, the technology should always inform you. It should never direct your decisions because obviously at the end of
Right.
the day,
Yeah.
you know what's
It's
up.
a
Technology lies
right.
sometimes.
Yeah. It's a part of the process. It's not the
Yeah.
process.
No, I got you. That makes sense.
So,
Um, right now, obviously, I know Weber, correct me if I'm wrong, Weber was a NAIA school, correct?
yep.
Obviously, at least this is my experience of Weber. They had at least like four, maybe five strength coaches on staff. What is it like to be one of two on staff at a school that has 25-ish sports
Yeah.
versus like, the traditional D1 model where it's like you might have one strength coach for every like two sports you got, and you got like 10 strength coaches total. How do you kind of balance all this?
Well, I think it's very important to understand that all of our student athletes here at the University of Lynchburg are involved with us to some capacity. Very fortunate even into this year. We brought on track and field. In the past, we had a different track and field coach. He wanted to do that. So we cover the gambit from equestrian all the way to our lacrosses and baseballs being our largest male
Yeah.
teams. So we got softball, we've got all our sports, and I always kind of try to paint that picture of understanding we're not just working with our lacrosse teams or our baseball teams or the basketballs. We work with every single person here, all the way down to our equestrian program that has 50 some athletes, close to 50 some athletes in it.
Jeez.
Um, Swimming team with 50 some athletes, baseball at 60. So to go back and answer your question, how do we manage all that and kind of go with it? Honestly, we just train 3 times a week with our out of season teams. And then our in season teams will go 2 days a week. Usually that's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
Country club team, I call them our country club teams. So the golfs, the equestrians, and those type of things. Those are usually going to stick to a 2 day program throughout the whole year, just because a lot of those are having to get off campus, so they can't be here for 3 times a week, even in the off season. So their facility that they go and practice at is off campus.
Gotcha.
We're adding in wrestling, so that'll be another one to the fold.
There you go.
Ultimately, it's just trying to provide the student athletes with a 60-minute block 3 times a day in the off season. Try to get them in as many as in the off season. We try to get them in those team settings as much as possible, and then understand in the in season we can go to those groups throughout the middle of the day, to come in around class schedules, because you're getting that team component within your sport practice that we
Truly.
don't necessarily have to continue to do that in the weight room. Now there is coaches that want to come in with a team after practice or something like that while they're in season, and we try to do that 1 time a week. Honestly, it gets a little bit of juggling and trying to figure it out. I mean, we're here early in the mornings at least 3 days a week, and we're here late in the evenings at least 2 days a week. And honestly, if I didn't have great assistants, I have another part time outside of my full time assistant that we all kind of take our teams, set out the schedule, have something that we're going to work on this week, for the weeks ahead for the semester, and really kind of navigate that. And then ultimately just meet the athletes where they're at and their abilities for the sport, and tailor those programs a little bit towards them. But again, if I go back to what we're training them for from our
Yeah.
department, we're training the athlete, and not necessarily, hey, this is the baseball program. So the programs, you'll see some similarities across the board, but ultimately um, train them to be bigger, faster, stronger, resist rotation, and put rotation into the mix. All those things. The body can only do so many things. And if we try to make it too fancy, then we're probably not going to get any stimulus that the body can respond to.
So true. So true. Question that kind of popped up when you were talking right there too, because I talked with one of my buddies, Eric Orgazaba, down at Southwestern in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying one of the differences between like D3 and D1 that he's noticed too is um, in season you can mandate S&C.
Mm-hmm.
Out of season, cross your fingers
Yeah.
and try to build as best of a team culture as you can so your teams come
Yeah.
in, but it's not like mandatory for athletes.
Right.
How do you kind of go about convincing, building the culture, like how to get those teams to train year round? Because as you know, as well as I, like if you take 6 months off during the off season, which is like your prime building,
Mm-hmm.
what is it going to look like when you get to the in season? Like how do you kind of facilitate and get people to be bought in that they want to train year round, they want to train there in the summer when they're not actually physically present? How do
Right.
you get that system in place?
Yeah. So I think it comes from the top down approach. To be honest with you, the coaches got to be bought into our system as well, head coaches wise. And I always tell our athletes, and this is no dig in any way, and this is not smoke and mirrors. Like, yeah, it's not mandatory, completely optional. I'm not reporting back to the coaching staff. I'm following all the NCAA rules, but it's also optional to win championships.
True.
We talk about winning and ringing the bell here on campus. We got a big bell that when we win an ODAC championship or win an NCAA championship, and been very fortunate to have those opportunities here since I've been here. Like those are all optional as well.
Yeah,
And to get to those, there might be one or two, three, four per team that could do it without training throughout the year. But you're at the Division III level because you need to get better athletically. You're probably pretty skilled at your sport because we don't really bring any low skilled athletes to our programs here at Lynchburg. We're very fortunate to have some good recruits. Um, so it's just a part of our programs. It's part of what we do. Like I said before I got here, there was a strength coach in place, and he was also teaching. So they were having to do it while he was teaching, and sometimes he would put it in. He was actually one of the first people to use Team Builder. We use Team Builder now, so
there you
all of
go.
our programs go through Team Builder. Very fortunate to have that. So on those months that they're away, like I said, 6 weeks, they're away here at winter.
Yeah,
Then we got months in the summer. We use Team Builder, try to communicate through that, put programs in place, understanding that people are going to go home and train with their personal trainers as well. And I'm always 100% okay with that because that's eyes on you. I just
sure.
asked you as a student athlete, hey, show them what we have in place so that hey, you're going to have to come back and your judgment day is going to be whatever our testing is for that specific sport.
Hmm.
If you're not doing something that helps you in those testing, at least our initial evaluation is you didn't go home and do anything, or whoever you worked with didn't help you, because this is what we feel is valuable. It doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily matter who you're paying, and they say, hey, no, that's not valuable. This is valuable. Now, if you're injured and they help you work around some stuff, completely, and that's the good part of being able. I'm not somebody as a college strength coach that says private sector sucks. No, that's not how this works. That's not how
yeah,
this world should be working. We should all be working together and saying, hey, how can I get this better? How can I help your guy while I've got him here for 3 months and get them to the right spot for you and your program and whatever your evaluation is. We don't have to agree with how we train athletes. There's
for
so
sure.
many ways to do it, but hey, an understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, that makes sense, and we can work through that. And I've had many of um, personal trainers, people in the private sector reach out to me as their coach that is teaching some of our incoming athletes, or hey, here's the program that I've wrote for Johnny. He's coming to play with you. He's been there. Is this okay to run that? Hey, if you're going to be there to watch him, yeah, that's going to work because I need you just to tell him to put in the most effort possible to get that done.
No, that makes sense.
So,
And that's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out and talking with coaches and everything right now too is like I'm getting athletes over the summer to come train with me. I want to know what you guys are going to be doing when they actually get to campus because I want to
right.
set them up for you because I've been on the receiving end of, hey coach, we had a great summer session. We did blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, we don't ever do those things when they're on
Yeah.
campus. I'm glad they had the experience, but like we're never going to do that. So
Right.
like if you had like the perfect guy, one of your athletes goes home for a summer break, he goes to train. What would be like, hey, I want him to train this way. This would be the ideal kind of setup. This is what I don't know. Maybe these are what
Yeah.
we do for our intro freshman guys coming in. Like, what can an
Mhm.
athlete do during the summer to make sure that they're setting themselves up for you to come in come the fall?
Yeah. Anybody that reaches out to me and has those same questions, it's honestly just telling them to get really good at the basic stuff. Squatting patterns. I
Hmm.
don't care if it's a front squat or a back squat. We are going to work to a back squat here, but if they're not quite ready to get the bar on their back, squatting pattern, hinging patterns, pushing and pulling, all the movements of the body. Get really good at those things. Again, I said it earlier. We don't need all the glitz and the glamour and the fancy tie you up to a band and do this and that. Like all of that is cool,
Yeah.
but if you're not good at the basics, and a lot of our kids need the basics far longer, or not necessarily that they need them, but their body is still responding to that basic stimulation.
Okay.
It's honestly not until third or fourth year that guys are like, hey, coach, like, I'm not getting anywhere with this stimulation.
Yeah.
And that's where we've been fortunate with the force plates and now the OVR units. So now we just flip the script a little bit. Let's train velocity based and let's, introduce, some more eccentric based stuff and time under tension and
Mhm.
really get that body to respond to a new stimulus because just that basic stuff hasn't worked anymore.
Gotcha.
Or,
When
or
they come into you too, are you guys more of a like Olympic style based program? Like, hey, we're going to be cleaning, we're going to be snatching, or if you had athletes on Tendo units or
Yep.
ERs or things like that, you guys just, or do you guys measure more like bar speed and kind of get your power outputs that way?
Yeah. So we will use the hang clean. Don't do a whole lot of snatching. We'll do
Okay.
some snatching with our track and field athletes.
Okay.
But for our lacrosse athletes, we'll dumbbell snatch. But just getting in that overhead position has not been the most. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the best coach at catching overhead. So if I'm not the
Gotcha.
best coach at getting the catch overhead, I do feel like I can teach the hang clean rather efficiently, and perform it at a pretty high level for them to show them what's going on. Um, so I think for me, I based all our programs around Joe Ken's tiered system,
Okay.
and kind of plug and play with the tiered system. I will say I've been fortunate to be with some strength coaches and get invited to Joe's house and talk through some of those processes. So that was fun early in my
Good deal.
career to just kind of see how he was doing things and understanding that what's in his book is just a very small part of how Joe Ken's brain works and how the tier system can really evolve. And so, for lack of better words, I've kind of bastardized the tier system to what we can use here. And again, if we're getting them in 3 days a week versus 2 days a week, those programs will be slightly different in how they work. But ultimately, the body, like I said earlier, body can only do so many things. It can push, it can pull, it can hinge, it can squat. Got to do those things unilaterally as well, and then resist rotation and rotate, while also carrying some things along the way. From there, get their conditioning based on what their sport demands are, and we'll be pretty good in the set spot to be able to hand athletes off to the coaches and make them better at whatever their sport is.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's awesome. So obviously you've said some great stuff about how you guys train, what you guys have access to and things like that. But if you had to give the quick kind of like recruiting pitch for Lynchburg, like what what sets either you, your department apart from like any other like Division 3 ODAC, anything like that school?
Mm-hmm.
And like what can you guys provide or what's your X factor that makes Lynchburg the place to be rather than somewhere else?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The kid that has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder is our X factor.
There you go.
Because the athletes are the X factor. I'm not the X factor. The coaches are not the X factor. Ultimately the athletes gotta perform when the lights come on. So the guys and the girls that come here with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and understanding that we're going to give them all the resources possible to go win at a very high level. We just finished up the fall semester, obviously. Um, Last year, I believe we finished up in the top 20 of the Learfield Cup. If you go into Learfield and look at the top 20, schools above Lynchburg have $1 billion endowments, meaning
Yeah.
they have tons and tons of resources. We're still hanging out down in the, couple $1 million endowments. Like it's not, it's a different league when you look at the endowment level, but we are providing the athletes with an opportunity to go out and succeed at a very high level. Don't get me wrong. I have the fortunate opportunity to work with the best coaches in their sport,
Mhm.
the who's who of coaching when it comes to whatever sport that I'm covering that day. These coaches have been doing it for a long time, successful at a high level. And to be honest with you, all that trickles down from our athletic director, John Waters, who supports me as a strength conditioning coach in our athletics department as a whole. We talked about the education and the using technology and those type of things. I mean, we're a Division 3 school and we got a nutrition station. It's
That's awesome.
quick grab and go stuff. It's not groundbreaking. We go to Sam's Club and get the stuff, but it provides something for the student athletes to say food is important too, not just
Yeah.
training. We provide them our athletic training staff does a great job in coordinating, mental health stuff with them, webinars and stuff like that. So we are providing a huge experience for them. And that again comes down from the athletic director. We want to provide you with the best experience possible. It's a championship level experience. That doesn't mean you're winning championships, but we're going to provide you with the opportunity to go and succeed at a very high level. Now you've got to do the work. And we're very fortunate to have athletes that are willing to buy into that. If you walk down into Wakefield House and you
Yeah.
look left and you look right where our weight room is, and you don't like it because of the aesthetics, probably not going to have a good time at Lynchburg and succeed at a high level. If you come down here and say, "Huh, a little bit of dirt on the floor, a little bit gritty in here. Oh, there's getting some sweat on it here. Oh, it's a little bit chilly, and you like that challenge. Our lacrosse coach Steve Kudelka says it best. It's like the unfinished basement in your house. The
Love
finished
that.
basement you really can't go downstairs and do a whole lot in. Your mom and dad probably said you need to sit on this chair, can't do that, but you got the unfinished basement, and they're saying, "Hey, get your hockey stick out, get your lacrosse stick, bang off the wall over here, like go downstairs and have fun because you're rampant in my living room. Go
Yeah.
downstairs into the unfinished basement, and you can do whatever you want because you have tons of space and resource."
And I think that kind of like talks to like the blue collar culture too, because like whether you have
Yep.
the fanciest, most high end weight room, or you got like you said
Yeah.
the unfinished basement, 45 is going to weigh 45, and that's one of the things that I love about S&C is like
Yeah.
the weight's the same, it's just you
Yep.
that brings the difference.
Yep.
But no, that's awesome. And then I guess talking about that culture piece too, like how does coach, how does admin kind of help facilitate that culture so you continue to get those guys and those girls that want to be ODAC champions, want to get to the second, third rounds of NCAA tournament
Yeah.
play? Like, how do you go about developing the mindset for those athletes with what you guys currently have going on at Lynchburg?
I'll be honest with you, and I hear it in our weight room from our student athletes. No student athlete on this campus wants to be on the worst team.
So true.
Everybody wants to ring a bell
Yeah.
because everybody else is ringing bells. I'll take for instance, our volleyball program hasn't had the best success in my 11 years here. I've been very fortunate to work with some good volleyball coaches who went off to do other things. We've got a new volleyball coach in place. Within 1 year, 2 years, really now, he's flipped that program around, and they want to succeed. They want to be part of the teams that are going to ring bells. Our biggest, probably because it was in the gym, we do code red events where we coaches pick one game of the year,
Mhm.
and we invite every single student athlete out, and so everybody's wearing red. It might be a big game, and we're really getting after the other team with the fans and those type of things. But we create an environment that when you get there, or you're playing in it, or you're on the sidelines, you kind of see, hey, they've put in the work and they've done that together. Same thing down here in the weight room. It's not just only for lacrosse in at this time or that
Yeah.
time. Like if it's a team time, yes. But if it's those open hours, or not really open hours, but those scheduled times, I might have 4 racks of lacrosse players, 4 racks of baseball players, 4 racks of men's basketball, and then I'm just flowing the room like, and I'm speaking all male gender, but it's the same thing. Females are in here intertwined with the males. Like everybody understands that we're all working towards success in whatever our sport is. It's
Yeah.
not sunshine and rainbows. Not every team loves every other team. I'm not going to sit here and say it's that,
Mhm.
but like there's many a times where if we've gotten to the off season and a team hasn't had success in the prior season,
Mhm.
players have said, we can't be the worst team. We didn't ring a bell. There, everybody else is ringing a bell. We've got
Yeah.
to step up and do our part as well. So that's honestly, success breeds success, and
I
it's
would say,
very fun to kind of watch and see.
and the best thing too is like when athletes take the onus upon them and they're just like, hey, listen, I got to make this work. That's when you
Yep,
guys see some great things happening from there. Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So what, obviously, you've been at Lynchburg for a while. What has been your like favorite moment, like your like the best thing that has ever happened for you or to you at Lynchburg with either with team success, lacrosse, anything?
Um, to be honest with you, just being able to build something that I can put my stamp on and say that I've left a lasting, hopefully lasting impact for whenever my time ends here, whether it's 40 years from now or 4 days from now, and it's definitely not going to be 4 days from now. Hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Um, but having something that I can really stamp my name to and say, "Hey, I've built this for what it's worth." Um, People may like it, people may love it, people may hate it, and that's okay. I'm willing to put my stamp that this is what we're doing here. But also, I've evolved from being a young strength coach that this was the only way to do training to now evolving to what's available for us and what other resources can we help. It's not about me; it's about the student athlete. I'm really trying to make this. I preach, getting 1% better every day. I have it on my hat. I have it in the
There you
weight
go.
room. Like that's been something that's been my motto since I've been here. I was fortunate to get that from Brian Kane when I was up in Maryland, and he spoke about that. So I've been really working to try to push that. So no one event. I've been fortunate to see our baseball team win a national title. Been to